Alright, everybody, welcome back to the second episode. In the last episode, we looked at the Sega Genesis, which was my introduction into, not my first gaming system. The first gaming system was an old Atari 2600 that my sister and I shared. I don't have that anymore. I don't know what happened to it. It disappeared a long, long time ago. I can't even remember. And then we had a original Nintendo, like the NES, the Nintendo Entertainment System. I think we sold that at a garage sale sometime in the mid-90s, I think? I can't remember. But anyway, what I have here is something that got me into my current style of gaming, which is PC gaming. What is in here is a processor. Not just any processor, it's an Intel 486 processor, and if you know anything about old Intel processors from the late 80s, early 90s, you will know that this is the iDX. Well, it's the i486, it's the DX processor, which was their high-end processor. It had extra, what else? It had all, like extra little transistor bits in it. I'm sure you could probably go up and read about it, but I don't care about that stuff. I just care about that I actually still have this thing. And all of the pins, if you look at them, are straight. This could be if I had a motherboard that it would work on, it would work. Because it was working when I pulled it out some, like, 20-something years ago. So, this is not going to be a long episode because it's just one small little object. A fun little object. This is when we bought the computer that this went in, I think it was it was a Packard Bell. I don't remember what kind of Packard Bell it was, but it was a Packard Bell, and it was a desktop. It wasn't a tower. Everybody always remembers the towers, but I had a desktop, and I remember it because it was like a white, and it had like this bottom section, and at the bottom section it was a dark gray plastic. And what I remember most about that system is it had this like navigation system. I think it was called like Kids Zone or something or other. Anyway, it was like a desktop replacement. It had like these little clickable animated graphics in the background. You could click on it and be like a little dog would bark and jump over like a fence or something. But I spent most of the time in I don't know if it was like an airport or a spaceport or some sort of weird mixture of the two. But it was like, or was it a space station? I don't even remember. It was so long ago. But I remember that I used to love that little desktop replacement because it was fun. You could launch all these little games and stuff from it. I'll have to find. I think I still even have some of the original discs from it. I'll look for those, and those will probably be the next episode. But this episode was just a small little, quick one-off to show the oldest piece of computer hardware that I have, which is an old Pentium processor, a 486. Some people have 286s, and those were the ones before this. And the one that came after this was the Pentium. And the Pentium was like the best processor at the time. And because I remember that when I upgraded this from the 486 to the Pentium, I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks later, they came out with the Pentium 2. And I was a little disappointed because if I'd waited, I could have gotten the 2. But at the time, I didn't have anything that would have benefited from having a 2, at least not yet. Most stuff back then was like, oh, just 486 or a Pentium. But hey, you use what you got. In fact, I think, and did I have a? I don't have my Pentium 4 anymore. I don't remember what happened to that one. I've lost so much stuff over the years. I think it didn't break. The 3 broke. The 3 that I had, because I went from a 486 to a Pentium 2, into a 4. And I stayed on that Pentium 4 up until the i7 came out. Which wasn't that long ago. Well, about 10 years ago now. Yeah, because I got the first generation i7. And that lasted up until about 3 years ago. And then it died. I mean, it literally just stopped working one day. And now I'm on the i5, so that's actually all the processors I've ever used. I never had a dual core. I went straight from 1 to 7. Well, it was 6.5. Or not 6, yeah, 6. Because the way the multi-core processors work is you have one processor that is the administrative processor. It tells the other cores what to do. So you actually, if you have an i7, you're running 6 processors and a coordinating processor. If you have an i3, you have a dual core, a more efficient dual core. I have the i5, so I have 4 processors and one that tells the other 4 processors what to process, when to process, how to process. I know I'm simplifying all this, and then there's lots more complicated algorithms and machine codes and whatnots, but as someone who just likes to use a computer, and when I say use a computer, I don't mean go on to check your face Twitter and your MySpaces and your message systems and all of that stuff. I never really did get into the social media stuff. Not until recently, because I just never really cared too much about the big social media sites. I always liked the forums. Yeah. Well, maybe I'll talk a little bit about software in another video, because I've got a lot of software, a lot of floppy disks. Yeah, that's another one for another time. I'll show the floppy disks. But until then, enjoy this nice little zoom in on the processor. Yeah, there it is on the little potato camera. Alright, enjoy.